Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast, bringing peace to the galaxy by any means necessary, including force. Okay, only by force. That's Kai, I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite podcast in the Citadel. That is a 14-year-old meme there. Shout out Mass Effect 2. Kai, how the hell you doing, man?
I'd be doing better if I knew what you're talking about, but I
Well,
I I trust you. That was a good joke.
it definitely is not a good joke, but the second I wrote the intro, I'm like, I'm dropping this in here. And what's ironic is Kai and I are now playing Helldivers 2. We just started playing that earlier this week, which is a really fun video game. And it's kind of space themed and kind of like, a little more aggressive and violent. It's a lot of fun. And it made me think about Mass Effect 2, and that made me think of today's intro. But there's our nerd shit for the first minute. Kai, what's going on in the sports card world you want to talk about?
I think we'll get to a few things. I think we'll hit on. There's been a lot of drama about like people being upset with raw cards on eBay consigners. There's stuff with like PSA 9s to compare to gems and whatnot. There's a couple things we'll probably talk about, but nothing like insane's going on right now, really, right?
Not that I would think of. I mean, Topps Hobby Rip Night was a success from what I saw from a marketing perspective. It's so interesting to me because no matter what seems to happen related to the sports card world, someone's gonna have a problem with it, which is perfectly fine. It's very interesting to see like people either freak out because like, hey, why is this athlete there? Or, oh, they got this person there. Michael Rubin's paying off this person. Either way, like I don't actually care about that type of stuff. I care that Topps and Fanatics is doing something. It might not be good or bad. For instance, I was pulling this up earlier before the episode started. So you remember how Series 1 came out a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or two at this point, and they had also mentioned how they were going to have like their first stamped card of something. Top screwed it up, and those first card like stamps actually did not get onto the physical cards. There's still one of ones that are marked on the back of the card, but it was not stamped the first card. They made a mistake. Obviously, that's pretty stupid, and like that's really kind of funny that they messed up something they were going to try and do as new. But I will still like applaud the fact they're trying something new. They screwed up the rollout of it, and that's funny, and that should be made fun of. But I will always applaud at least trying something, and had it been done correctly, we would not be talking about it as like a meme. But you tried your best.
That's like kind of a like low-key kind of a big screw up because first of all, a lot of those are gonna get thrown away now. A lot of the one-on-ones.
Yep.
Second of all, a lot of the breakers are gonna have to spend like 3 times as long going through the base cards to make sure they don't throw them away.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, it's good they're trying to fix it. That's kind of funny how big of a screw up that is, though.
There's definitely been some weird, like, transitional issues that Topps, or I should say Fanatics, has been having with the baseball card world. But they've done some good things, and I'm not here to be a shill. We're not sponsored. They would never sponsor us anyway. Never, ever. But I will generally lean towards giving these companies some benefit of the doubt because Panini got so much for a decade. And then like I was around, I'm old. I was around when Panini was okay and accepted and like fine. And then like I obviously have seen over the last couple of years how they've just managed to continue to suck. And I have no sympathy for Panini. Now I will give Fanatics several years of leeway to try and do things before I turn on them. So I'm very wait and see on things. Same thing I'm going to say when they eventually take over the basketball and football market, because Fanatics is going to take those over. And it'll be interesting to see what happens there. We shall see. With that being said, yeah, this is stupid. You screwed up something that is really like, you said you were going to do this phenomenal thing and you goofed it. Good job.
That kind of makes it a little brutal because it was honestly, I thought it was a really cool idea, but and you go promote it so much, then you simply can't stamp like 300 cards, right? I don't know, but what are you gonna do? I guess at this point.
No, I mean, what you do at this point now is apologize, say we made a mistake. If you have these, like swap them back in. I don't know what these cards' values should be correlated to. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast when it was announced. Or I just talked about this in person. Um, I don't really care if a card is the first stamp version. I'd be like, oh, that's cool, but I would not want to own it. I would not pay a significant premium on it. I'd rather own, I guess, the Platinum 101 Parallel. It would not be the Super Fractor. It would be because it's paper. Um, yeah, I'd rather own like the true one of one version of the card. The first stamp is neat, but it doesn't really. I don't care as much.
Yeah, I'd rather own the platinum as well. I think the first stamps will probably sell for more just because it's the first
Yeah.
time they ever did that. But I agree with you 100%.
Oh, this is cool. Okay, like that would I would not like. Oh, this is
Yeah. Now, what I could see kind of catching on over time is the rookies in the set, their first stamped card, because technically for a lot of them, it's going to be their first ever rookie card printed.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I mean, for the top prospects, I mean, the Bowman Chrome autos.
Well, I meant more of like, oh yeah, that's very fair actually. But like a Yamamoto kind of like that'll be his first MLB card ever printed.
Now that's more fair. So yeah, guys who would not appear in Bowman Chrome. So that'd be more international talent. That'd be stuff like that. I get that. I mean, there's always players that kind of get through the cracks of not appearing in Bowman Chrome and then end up being legitimate players. Now, are they always superstars? No, but they're like quality MLBers who either were late round picks or even some instances undrafted who have been quality MLB players who appear and like have meaning and maybe could have some collecting appeal. But like, yeah, other than I guess their Bowman Chromes, those top series one or updates or whatever else, I assume they're going to continue that first stamp process going forward. It's interesting. I'd be willing to see how it does in a couple years, but no, I'm not gonna jump through hoops. I gotta own the first printed
I hope
version.
they don't start putting that in like every product because that would totally ruin it.
If it's for like stuff like Topps Chrome, Series One, Top Series Two update, I think it's fine.
I feel like you got to keep it just a flagship, like Tops and Update or Series 2 or whatever.
I'm okay with them experimenting on that and seeing like what the reception is. I mean, they screwed it up here, so I think it's already off to a very negative first step. But I'll give it a chance, see what they do, and then if we're having this conversation next year and it is just like kind of gone or only in one or two products, so be it. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a positive all around that they're trying stuff like that, the MLB debut stuff, the patches, those kind of
Now,
things.
I have not seen a single person complain about the debut patches. That to me is a phenomenal idea. I hope that it continues to be a thing. I'm curious to see in like 5 to 10 years if they are still doing those debut patches, how they're holding up, what's the market like. You know, if Anthony Volpe is the superstar for the Yankees and like he was like the chase of that first initial debut patch, like what is that card theoretically worth? Or Kodai Senga is a Cy Young winner, and people gotta have Kodai Senga would be a Cy Young winner, and like we gotta have his stuff. Or I don't think Ellie did not have a debut patch, did he?
No, he would probably have his in this year's product, I think. But
Got
I've
it.
seen a lot of people mad on Facebook because people have been like asking astronomical prices for like the random dudes in the set. It's kind of funny.
I mean, there are randoms who've sold for thousands of dollars.
Yeah. The
You know,
beginning of the release, they were going for like people I've never even heard of were going for insane like relief pitchers were going for thousands of dollars. It was kind of crazy.
yeah, that's awesome. And then you find out one day you could buy their game worn jersey from their debut
Yeah, for like $200.
I have had the opportunity to buy some debut jerseys before of players, and they're fine. They're not nothing crazy.
Subtle
but
flex.
no, I've not. That's not a subtle flex, Kai. It's like random people who are just on eBay. It's like this is their debut jersey, or this is their first time they appeared in this. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, I was not gonna buy it because like they were like kind of scrubs, but yeah, I spend plenty of time on eBay and other auction sites looking for game worn jerseys and shit like that, which Hey Kai, guess what? It's been a week. I've not sold the Marlins ball yet.
I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, I think you're gonna hold on to it at this point.
Like I said, 30 days or like 5 years. There's
No, it
no.
had to be within the first week or two.
I got offers on it. I had respectable numbers that came in, but like
Do you want to say any of them?
I got offered $5,000 and I said no.
Wow, I've never seen you turn down a quick profit like that.
This is a item I will never ever see again. For anyone who did not watch last week's episode, perfectly fine. I'll try and hold this up gently. This and that's gonna look like shit. You're not gonna see it on camera super
Drops
well.
it, falls into coffee.
That'd be really funny. There's no coffee on the table. That is the first ever hit in the Marlins or Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins history, signed by the player who hit it. Very cool item. 2 weeks ago, I was negotiating it with Jack, Suns Fan 8. Last week, we talked about it more in detail, and it's still here as of today. Was not trying to bring it up. It's just one of the things that
Is
happens.
their first hit for when they switched to Miami?
So someone actually mentioned that to me on Reddit. It was a single or double by Jose Reyes to get out of a no hitter by Kyle Loesch. Real throwback name there, but
That's such a random scenario.
I know. I mean, that's just kind of what happened. No, but do you remember Belia? To me, is just so much more fun. The sports car world is phenomenal. I love it. It's the thing I will always continue to do. Memorabilia though is a very fun like hobby in a weird way of saying that, where I just like cool shit and I will continue to buy it. Ironically, the DeJounte Murray jersey I bought during the Super Bowl, so 2 weeks ago, give or take, whenever it was, maybe 3 weeks ago at this point, actually moved in a trade yesterday, which was really fun.
Did you get cards or other memorabilia?
I got back cards.
What kind of like value did you trade it at?
I bought it for 5. I got like 6 out of it. Like, it is not something where you will make good money because once again, it's $15 to ship it. It's in a medium priority box. It's a larger item. It's a little janky. Like, oh, this guy make sure this fits properly and everything like that. You know, a sports trading card is bubble mailer, pieces of cardboard, possibly a second bubble mailer if the item is really expensive, bubble wrap or bubble tape if you need it, like really, if it's that truly expensive. And, you know, if you're shipping a really truly expensive card, it could be up to $100 for FedEx overnight. Most items, though, is really just that first bubble mailer, cardboard, whatever, and it's $4 to ship. Like, it is much easier to ship, 10 of these than one jersey or baseball or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. But listen, I really look at that collectible side as the hobby side because it's just cooler to me.
Well,
Sports cards are go for it.
I was gonna say I've seen actually speaking about Fanatics and stuff, they've been putting like redemptions for signed jerseys and stuff in packs. I don't know if
Really?
you've seen that. Yeah, and like I don't know what product. I'm assuming it was the newest flagship that came out, but there's like redemption cards for just signed jerseys and stuff.
I've never even heard of that before. That's good marketing. Good idea. Hey, you got a pack of cards here for $4.99 from your local hobby shop, and oh, you just said a Ronald Acuna signed jersey. That's cool.
It's
Sick.
kind of surprising that no one's really like done that before. Like that'd be kind of something obvious I would think of.
That is a cool thing. I mean, hopefully, it ages well and it's not a scrub player that you go, man, I
Well,
gotta.
yeah, it probably helps that Fanatics has like warehouses of all this stuff just sitting there. They probably don't have a use for.
Have you seen the new jerseys though? That they are.
I have.
So the players, for anyone who is not paying super attention to this, in spring training, I assume this is going into the regular season as well. Nike is producing the jerseys with Fanatics' help, or like they're partnered on it, and the material and everything else with it is pretty dodgy. It doesn't look super good. The lettering on the jerseys is a lot smaller. The only logo, which was above the player's like neck, is now like towards where the name would be. The pants are apparently like see-through. It's really kind of weird how this has happened. I guess we'll have to see if teams and players really give it a lot of flack. I mean, spring training games just started a couple days ago. I kind of forgot to get some hot takes ready for baseball. It just kind of
I did
happened.
too. We can still
Yeah,
do it later if you want, but
well, we could just do it on the fly. It's gonna
yeah.
happen. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I
With the
told you.
jerseys though, one thing I noticed on those, which is I don't know if it's for every team, but I saw the Mariners, their like logo isn't stitched anymore. It's just like
Yes.
printed, which if
Yeah.
every team's like that, that's tough for cards. I hate
Yes.
printed patches.
I believe every jersey will be heat pressed on, not stitched.
That's so bad.
I know. Well, the only good thing I could say about that in return is I hope Dynasty and like the high end baseball products that Fanatics and Tops make hopefully doesn't feature those heat pressed on jerseys, and you just stick them with Panini or something. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're gonna be at least eventually because they're gonna run out of jerseys eventually. But yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine they'll stay with these for too long, but yeah, that's a real issue that I could absolutely see
because
happening.
they've been getting a lot of backlash, so I wouldn't be surprised if they fix them before the season even starts.
I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. I do know there's been a lot of issues. It is good though to have baseball back on. I mean, we are approaching a fun time of the sports year. Not even just sports cards, but sports in general. NFL draft is 60 days away, give or take. The USFL, XFL should be beginning relatively soon. You have March
Woo.
Madness coming up. You obviously have baseball right around the corner. You have the NBA. The NBA season is just it's happening. How many games are we through it right now? Like 65?
Yeah, I
Give or
think we're
take?
about 20-ish away from the end.
It just 57.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
so
for
maybe
me, I've just been way less invested because the Hawks are just a dumpster fire this year. But
it's okay. The Nets are 22 and 35, and I thought they would win like 45 games this year, which I said on this
yeah, I
podcast.
probably said some absurd. I mean, I do know I said something about Jalen Johnson, which whatever I said is probably true at this point. But other than that, I probably made some absurd comment about how good they would be.
It just kind of sucks because like basketball is a lot of fun. Like it is, in my opinion, the best market to buy, sell, and trade. But the regular season just like it is a little too long. I'm not super interested in it. I'm not invested anymore. You can call me a fair weather Nets fan because like I've stopped tuning in. I don't really care. I generally try to get into it around Christmas time, and this year just like it didn't click. I just wasn't super interested. I mean, at a glance, I am kind of surprised that the Thunder and the Timberwolves are the 1-2 seed, which is kind of crazy. But I don't know. I just like I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah, I don't even feel that excited about the playoffs. Like usually, I don't know. There's just no really. There's also like not really favorites from like what I've gathered. Like the Celtics are obviously the best team in the East, but then the West, there's 5 or 6 good teams, and then usually it feels like there's 1 or 2 teams every year. It's like, oh yeah, they're gonna win the finals. I know it was the Warriors for a while, but just kind of, which I guess is a good thing. It should make people watch more with more parity, but to me, it almost kind of makes it like more boring somehow. I don't know.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't really agree with you. I love the fact there's parity because I could look at the standings right now and not know who the best team is. And it's very funny too because like obviously people are pumping up the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards or Chet Holmgren because they're playing well. The Celtics have kind of been here, done that already. They just have not won. So I'm curious to see like if we are 2 months ahead from now and we're in the playoffs and the thick of things and everything like that, where the sports car market lies for these players and what's going to happen when inevitably most of them, if not all of them, end up not winning the finals.
Yeah.
Especially if a team that doesn't have a ton of collectors behind it or players you can collect on it, like, oh man, what would be the nuclear option for a team
Probably
if the Clippers
no.
won?
Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, was like no one really truly collects those.
No, disagree strongly.
They don't.
Russell Westbrook, dude, those people have like crazy like fan base collector bases.
Fine, let me rephrase that statement then. They don't have a ton of cards in their respective jerseys. How about that?
They don't have a ton of cards in general, honestly. Any of 4 of them.
What else would piss off the most people? Hang
I'm trying to
on.
think of someone in the East that's up there.
Pelicans would piss me off. Although I was right about Zion this year, and I said he'd
Pelicans
be
aren't going to
healthy.
win. No
I
chance.
know, I know, but I did say Zion will be healthy this year, and he actually has been, and no one gives a shit, which makes me even happier.
Cavaliers would be weird.
Cavs would be weird. Pacers would be really
Pacers.
funny.
I mean, Halliburton though, like his stuff would probably, you know,
Explode.
no, the Magic.
No, people like Paolo a lot up
Still though,
front.
it's the Magic though.
Yeah, I guess there's.
You know, weirdly enough, I think one of the worst ones would be the Nuggets. I don't think. I mean,
No.
besides some friends of ours, I don't think anyone really gives a shit if they win.
You better apologize to Shane right now.
I know. I'm just being honest. Like the world, like no one, you know. I don't know. I'll stop.
Yeah, just walk it back now. It's all right. If I said something stupid about the Clippers not having people who would care about their cards, you have to walk back the Nuggets because people would.
But would anyone care if the Nuggets won besides like their fans?
Would anyone care otherwise if any team won besides their fans?
I mean, like the Lakers, LeBron, people.
Dude, Laker fans like really kind of hate LeBron. It's really funny.
I would too. They're a dumpster fire. I mean, they have a good record. I don't think it's actually that good, but
They're ninth right now, so they're a play.
yeah, they're. I've seen a lot of rumors about them trying to get Trae Young in the offseason.
I've seen a lot of rumors like him, DeJounte Murray, which would have been interesting. Donovan Mitchell, if things don't work out in Cleveland this next year. Like,
well, I think they're farther away from winning if they get one of those dudes, because I really think they're gonna lose LeBron in like a year when Bronny comes out, and then all the house AD.
LeBron could be a free agent this offseason. Whether or not that happens, I think depends on if Bronny gets drafted. I don't know if he will be. I mean, obviously, as a player, he just is
This
not.
year?
Yeah, he can be drafted this
I think
year.
he pulled out of the draft.
Did he? But the season.
There's rumors about him not going in the draft now.
I mean, that makes complete sense. He's not been a good player, which is fine. But if the rumor, which was LeBron James would sign with any team for the league minimum or middle of exception or whatever, if a team drafted Bronny is true, then Bronny goes in the lottery and it doesn't matter. Now, if that is not true, then yeah, Bronny obviously does not get drafted. He probably stays in school. LeBron most likely signs back with the Lakers, which I've also heard is a possibility as well. No one really knows what's going to happen, dude. It's very interesting with him. LeBron is a player I love. He very much is a diva, like very much to the 10th degree. So it is all about him and keeping his name in the news, and you know, it's fine. Like I'm interested in seeing what happens. But the Lakers do always have this cycle of like, hey, we'll just go get the next megastar who is unhappy in their situation, or we'll get all these vet players because we're the Lakers and you want to play here, don't you? We're the Lakers. And the answer is yes. So it works.
Yeah. They're in kind of a weird spot because I mean they won a championship, but
no one cares.
Yeah, I don't think they're in a good spot overall going forward, no matter what they do. But speaking of divas, do you want to talk about people who buy raw cards on eBay and get upset?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting conversation. I mean, there were Instagram posts this past week. There were people complaining in general, and I get it. Like, people are always going to have an opinion on sports cards and everything like that. I mean, this podcast obviously has strong opinions on stuff as well. One thing, though, that I've always tried to avoid is the buying of raw cards on eBay. Mostly because of the fact that, hey, listen, this is a highly desired trading card. This is something that's actually valuable. And, you know, it's a little bit of an older product, let's say. There's a reason why it's not graded. And the exception or the conversation you could have about when raw stuff is worth buying on eBay would be a product that's like brand new. Like if Bowman Chrome released and you want to go buy a player, okay, yeah, those cards are probably not super looked over and ready for grading, but you have at least a fair shot of them probably being 9s, possibly a 10 every now and again because, hey, people bought them. They just want to recoup their money to go buy something else or anything like that. Or Prism was like, oh, yeah, I bought for some basketball, but I didn't hit Victor. I hit everyone else. Well, shit. Let me go run this on eBay, get my money back, or 40% of my money back, and try again. But people who get so butthurt about, hey, can you send me 14 images of the front and back of this card, high res photos of each corner and surface and edge, and then I will consider possibly buying your item. You're a fucking asshole, and I don't want to sell you my cards anyway. So yeah, I don't. I understand why people do it because once again, we are a very transaction based industry, and people feel like they are getting over on you by, oh, let me make sure this is pristine and clean and perfect, and then I'll offer you 80% comps. I'm kind of tying in two things there, but it's just so funny to me because people who are going to disagree with me be like, well, it's your card, you can do whatever you want with it, and like you owe it to the buyer to tell them everything about it. Like, sure, but there's scans right here or pictures, and you are buying a raw item. The item is raw. I don't work at PSA. Do you work at PSA, Kai?
No.
So, hey, this card is raw. Good luck.
Yeah. It's tough because, like you said, I get it. But there's just got to be some sort of a line between like, oh, there's a quarter of a millimeter little line here and it's near mint, dude. Like, I don't know what you want from me. So like, I'm just like a near mint on everything raw person, unless there's something like actually wrong with it. And if you have a problem with it, then I don't really care. Like, I'm never going to list something that's damaged and not say it's damaged. Like a little, what?
No, that is the difference.
Yeah. If there's like a couple little dots or like one tiny soft corner, like you can either A, see that in the photo, or B, the whole near mint part, which is like what, like a 7 to a 9 or something, or an 8, something like
Near
that.
mint, I believe, is a PSA 8.
Yeah, so like an 8, a soft corner, you're probably going to get a 9 most of the time, honestly. But it's just tough because you want to understand from the buyer's point of view. Because when you're buying, probably not like most people, but if you're buying to like grade stuff, yeah, you're probably not going to be the happiest person. But what you should expect to not get a gem mint card, like you said, most of the time.
No, and you touched on a very key point there. No, we are not saying to purposely sell damaged cards. That is, if you're trying to infer that from what we just said, you missed the point entirely. What I am trying to say to you though is, hey, if this card was pack pulled and wasn't like reviewed and prepped, and it's on eBay, it's a raw item. This is what it is. And it's from 2004. And you're like, can I get scans of the front and back? Like, I want to make sure that it's grades pretty well. It's like, what the fuck do you think this is going to do, dude? It's been 20 years. This card is not going to be perfect regardless. And if it somehow is, you got lucky. Or the grader got lucky, and that's why it's a 10. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
chill.
I don't think it's an issue that'll ever like have a good like resolution to it. You know, there's always gonna be people that are upset if a card has a dot or whatever. And there's always gonna be sellers that are bad about it, which probably is the main issue, that don't note actual damage. And that's probably where the main issue comes from. Because personally, when I've sold raw, it's like actually near mint. Like, I very rarely have people message me like with any sort of problem. I think it's the bad eggs that don't list damage properly and then get the messages, and then the seller is like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with it," when there clearly is. I think that's kind of the root of the issue. Same with consigners, which is one of the main things people are mad about. Like, a lot of people send their raw cards there that are actually damaged. The consigners don't check all the cards and they list them as near mint, and then they get returned. So that's another key root of the issue, which I don't think most consigners will ever look through all the cards before they list them, because they just don't have the time or effort or workers for that. But I don't know if there's a great fix for any of that right now or ever, but that's what the problem is right now. So
No, and I think there's more to the conversation of like what premium we are putting on raw cards versus graded versus PSA 10s, BGS 95s versus any other grading company, which sealed, correct. Well, first off, the card should, if it's flawless, dynasty, whatever, the card should be sealed regardless. Like, if
redemptions
too, theoretically. Like, if you're buying dynasty and it's a BGS 9, I don't want the card. Like, the card should be sealed, even if it's a 9.5. I'm like, oh, nice, sick. But I expect this to be in this condition because it's an ultra high end product. I'd rather just be sealed. Like, I don't need it to be graded. Sure, if it's a PSA 10 or a black label, yeah, that helps me sell the card. It's worth more. But if it doesn't 9.5 minimum for you, you kind of goofed. And I don't even prefer them than PSA 10s. Those are better Beckett cards. Um, it's just a weird thing. Like, we as an industry, and I said this once already, but like, we are so transaction based and money focused, which is completely fine, but you have to get that in order to be successful in this industry, which is not a good thing to say. The value that you provide to your peers is strictly monetary in like 99% of times. So if you have a good working relationship with someone, it's probably because they have benefited financially from you or you have benefited financially from them. And that is not a bad thing, but I think it's more of like, oh yeah, this person's good for business. I don't have to worry about them like screw me over with this card. Oh, it's raw, whatever, that's fine. I know it's gonna clean up well or I can prep it well. And like, oh yeah, there you go. It's a PSA 10, boom, double my money. Move on.
Yeah. And I mean, I think like an example of the opposite of what you just said is like Probstein. They have a reputation of selling a lot of damaged cards.
Yep.
And somehow their cards still go stronger than a lot of other listings, but it's widely known. Everyone has the same perception that Probstein lists damaged cards, and that's because they do. Like, I don't know what else to say, but yeah.
Probstein has a lot of issues. Probstein lists damaged cards, absolutely lets people shill their auctions, absolutely does not account for people bidding on their own cards and like them blocking buyers or not
Consignment as a
paying.
whole, just not. I don't want to say a mess because I still use a few of them and like everything's fine, but like there's a lot of issues that people don't really talk about with it.
Well, there's no way to fix them.
Yeah.
Like,
At least an easy fix. There's ways to fix them, but they're not going to put the effort and money into fixing them because they don't need to be fixed technically.
No, and the easiest way to fix them would be like you have to provide your eBay account, and you're not allowed to bid on these items. If you do, you get publicly shamed, which would be interesting. But then you just create an alt account, and then
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if they did that, you would just create a random account and give that ID.
Yeah, it's so there's no good way to fix consignment as a whole. There's no way to fix eBay as a whole, other than what they've started to do, which on Buy It Now Best Offers you have to pay on most of them. So, eBay has really had a big come up in the last couple of years. They got rid of a lot of the issues with eBay returns. It used to be like 30 days. Now it's like 3. I don't love the authentication process, but it has saved me personally a couple times with someone selling me damaged items. And then
I will say the authentication has screwed me like 3 times more than it's helped me.
I have gotten cards fail for authentication because the PSA cert did not line up with what was pictured, but it was multiple quantities of cards. That's why.
That's the how would they not fix that? It's so frequent. It's never happened to me personally, but I've seen so many people with that issue.
Had me a couple times, at least 2 or 3 times, but that is a different entity to fix. But their policies on how they're handling buying items where you have to pay automatically, their way of making sure that you have more buyer or seller protections is really good. Don't love the authentication process. Definitely needs a lot of work. But overall, eBay has done more good in the last couple of years than more bad.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good split. I mean, my personal gripes with authentication is more often than not, I don't know if their criteria is, first of all, on what exactly gets rejected from authentication for condition wise, but my gripe is that I've had probably 25% of the time a card passes through authentication with an actual damage or some sort of issue on the card, like very obvious, like an indent on the back or a bent, like something very obvious that's passed through. And I don't know if they're just not hiring like qualified people, like to look at the cards or how that's getting through. But because some of them very accurately get rejected that have clear issues on the card, and some of them don't. So I don't know where that like misalignment is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. I mean, not for nothing. Most graded cards should not be going through authentication unless there's just cause to, because obviously then people would
Yeah.
just sell fakes, but then they would sell fakes anyway. Pre-authentication, you have to figure it out, and you'd be protected. I don't know. It's tough. Raw cards should get a lot more review in depth. Graded is just like, yo, you're not PSA, you're not Becky, you're not SGC, whatever else. I know they work with some grading company. I believe it was ISA, which is really funny. I
Yeah, it was one
believe
of
it
those
was
weird
them.
ones, I think. It might have been
Yeah.
CGC.
It doesn't necessarily matter, but like whatever grading company they were partnered with is really funny because no one was grading good cards with them unless they had obvious issues. So for them to help eBay find cards with obvious issues is really ironic. Um, I don't know. It's really, we can go down a whole rabbit hole there. We can then connect it to, oh, remember how I was bitching about on Instagram? I think it was middle of last week. It was after the last episode, but it was like, hey, if you don't like people, don't support them. It's a really hard concept to follow. Like, let me phrase this correctly. So, if there's a show or an influencer or someone you're not a fan of, grading company even, let's say, because I don't like ISA. No one really likes ISA, but that's fine. I'll put a name behind it. Don't support them. Don't follow them. Don't use them. Don't go to their show. They're running a show. Don't support their story sales if you don't like their sales or you don't like their tactics or they're just a bad person. Don't follow them. Don't engage with them. Don't don't bother, and you will be a much happier person. Like, that's really easy to say. I don't know why people have to. We are very like high school girls when it comes to the amount of drama and bullshit that we kind of like let into our day-to-day lives in the sports card world.
Yeah. I just don't care anymore. Like I buy my cards, I sell my cards. I don't really I read it, whatever, but I don't have the energy for all that anymore. And I'm not even old.
I don't even care. That's the issue.
Yeah.
It's just like I very much could have been one of those hobby legends, the
Hobby
goats,
goat.
those people who like call
Still
out
marry cards.
the righteous one, the one who calls out the bullshit as he sees it. It's a losing battle, dude. You get sucked in, and then it just like turns you into. Target's not the right word, but like, what's so funny is people who have issues in sports cards, which is most of them. Most notable accounts have probably done something wrong in the past. No one gives a shit in real life, dude. If the cash is green and it's probably not illegal, although it could be, with the barrier of entry for sports cards just being money, it could easily be acquired illegally. Who cares? You're a hobby legend, bro.
The
Give me all that
rabbit hole we're
money.
going through.
What?
I said the rabbit hole we're going down right now.
Oh yeah, no. There's so much there. Yeah, I don't know. What I would say is just if you don't like him, don't bother.
Well,
Don't
the
deal with
problem with that though, it's not really a problem, but like people can be like, "Oh, I'm not going to deal with this person because whatever." But there's so many people in this hobby right now, that will just switch up to make $10 real quick on a card and deal with that
Yep.
person they don't like, quote unquote.
Yep.
So it's like we can sit here and say that, but like people are going to be like that anyways.
No,
So.
and I get it. There are people who try to scam my friends who will continue to do business with them anyway because their cash is green. Morals are cool. Morals are tough in this industry. This is an industry of one. You are on an island by yourself most of the time, and you got to just figure it out the best way that you can because there is no hobby police. There's no hobby law. There's bad Facebook groups.
I have
And-
an interesting topic. You can finish,
for it.
but based off this, do you have more to say?
No, you got to my point for me, but go on.
I don't know if you saw this over the weekend or yesterday, maybe, but it was about the oh shoot, what card was it? There was a card
Mahone.
on Facebook that someone made like a 30K offer on. What
Okay.
card was it?
So I know exactly what this was. So in old school, one of the Facebook groups, about 2 or 3 days ago, give or take at this point, someone had put a Mahomes NCRPA, not the true one. It was like the
That's
green
what it
to
was. Yeah, the
green
9.5.
to 15 or whatever, BGS
Yeah.
9, 9.5, whatever. And the person had an offer of 30K. And they had private DMs about it, and they couldn't come to an agreement. The owner wanted more money. The original person said no, like no, thank you. Like this is my offer. And then half an hour later, he tried to publicly say like, hey, yeah, we have a deal. And then shenanigans struck because obviously, there was more back and forth other than, hey, here's an offer. DMs, radio silence. Okay, deal, like publicly, so everyone knows. And while I didn't keep up with it super closely, it definitely looked bad on the original poster's point because he had an offer, he countered, and then tried to get cute with it publicly. And then I don't know how it was resolved. I imagine that
I don't think it was. I just don't
I
think he paid.
yeah, which so then basically what happens there is the person who made the 30K offer now is a scammer and doesn't pay and is probably kicked out of that Facebook group. And the original poster about it, I imagine, is still in there.
I think a lot of people ended up backing the poster or the commenter.
The commenter who offered 30K or the
Yeah,
one who.
because I mean, the way I look at it is I totally agree with his logic. He commented the 30K offer. The dude tried to milk more money out of him via private message, and they obviously didn't agree, like you said. And then he comes back to the thread and posts deal on his offer.
Yep.
There's no chance I'm paying for that card. Like,
No, I would
on.
not let that
Come
happen. Once again, and that kind of leads to like what I was saying. We are just like, we're all alone. There's no hobby police or watchdogs or hobby goats that guide you. You guys make your own way, and it's just so interesting. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. It's just so interesting what our industry is, and you're all alone, dude. Figure it out.
There's way
And
too much like bickering and stupid drama for what this is, like cards. I'll never get it, but
you're not supposed to get it, Kai.
yeah.
None of us are. I think that's also why this podcast is. I love this podcast because I can say whatever the fuck I want here, and there's no repercussions for my actions, dude. There's no one cares. There's no problem with what we say and do here. We are willing to call it out as we see it, and good things come from it or bad things. It doesn't matter. If you have money, Kai, and you're buying on Instagram, or you have nice cars at a show, someone will make a deal with you, and it does not matter.
Yep.
That'll keep you happy or not. I'm not sure. One thing I forgot to mention in this show, which I probably should have maybe led with. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The Brotherly Love Card Show was this past weekend, a one-day show at the Philadelphia. I did it again. Philadelphia Convention Center. I was gonna say Pennsylvania. That's not right. I'm stupid. For what it was, a one-day show, about 250 plus tables. It was good. I was really impressed. I didn't have the best of show, which is completely fine. Sometimes you just have stuff ready, and sometimes you don't. I went in there trying to buy when I could, and repackers were there. A lot of notable ones, actually, a lot of high-end dealers. And I wasn't fully prepped for the show in a way that I should have been. I think I kind of slept on it, and I was wrong too. This is a show that could do very well in the future. Hey, it could be a 2-day show in a good location in Philadelphia. It was right in the heart of town. Amazing foot traffic, kept up with any regional show like a Dallas, or even probably better than Nashville on a Friday or Saturday, give or take. I was really impressed. It's going to be a quarterly show that happens. I'll be there as much as I can. And what's also funny, Kai, is one of the showrunners works for Collects. Collects, if you're not aware, owns a AI service for listing cards on eBay by the name of Car Dealer Pro, who is my number one competitor right now for SpeedyCardLister.ai, which will be launching in a couple weeks. So we'll see what happens there. And that's really funny because the second I saw the guy, I knew who it was immediately.
Did you guys
So
start fighting
no, it didn't fight. I don't think it matters.
like
What I
everyone on
will say,
Facebook says they're gonna do when they see each other?
yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. The only thing I will say is that I will be half the price of them at launch, and if they want to compete with
With
me,
double the service.
if they want to compete with me, they're gonna have to lower their profit margins by 44%. So good luck. It's really funny. I
Yeah,
might not be
Dave
able
calling
to.
out people now.
How was that me calling out people? That
No,
guy didn't.
there's no
That guy did
taking
not.
it back. There's a war
That guy.
going on
Fuck you, Kai. That person didn't
between
create Car Dealer
AI
Pro.
card listers. We got a beef.
You're a
How much
piece
did
of
they pay
shit.
you for that little ad read too?
I think I just got in trouble with them, if anything. I did the
Uh,
opposite. I didn't get paid. I got in trouble. That's how you know it's not paid for.
it
No,
was
but
going so great until you brought up the competition.
listen, you know what? He works there. He didn't create the company, as far as I know. That'd be really interesting. So it's like when people used to shit on BMW. I'm like, yep, yeah, you're right. BMW sucks. Fuck them.
Damn.
Now you
Well,
can't shit on Legos now. If you like Lincoln Logs more than Legos, you're wrong.
you honestly just are wrong at that point. Like I don't think it's even a debate.
What else is there? Lincoln Logs. What was the what's the
Uh,
name?
uh,
Totally
some
knockoff
some
Legos.
block something.
What's up? Yeah, knockoff Legos.
Um,
I'm not sure. I know what they are. Let me just go to images real quick.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. What's
Hey, this
wrong
is
with
kind of random. What happened to Jonathan Low Isaac?
I think he got Tommy John.
Did he? I was really high on him. I don't know where this came from, but I just thought of it.
Maybe he owned Car Dealer Pro.
You had to take him out
Let's see.
because he ended up he had a couple good little
No,
spurts,
Lazarus is
right?
perfectly fine. I don't. Is he hurt?
I
Did he get hurt last
I had
year?
like 10 of his Bowman Chrome autos at one point. Or is he just
Right elbow
bad?
inflammation. That was. Well, underwent surgery to repair bone spur in his right elbow before May. Returned to the bullpen. He's healthy. Okay, I know he got his elbow hurt. I thought he had Tommy John. I guess he's healthy. Yeah.
He's gonna be a reliever, it looks like.
Yeah, no, he was never going to be a starter for the Yankees. I think he was kind of like an opener originally, but like that kind of happened a few times at a quick glance. Yeah, just another bullpen piece, perfectly fine. With 17 games last year, 3.06 ERA, struck out 6 batters in 17 innings. Jesus.
Did you want to do some MLB predictions?
Jonathan Rowaziga does not win the Cy Young. Boom.
Damn, there goes my pick.
You guy.
You want to do the World Series matchup, winner, MVPs, Cy Youngs?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. You start while I'm King Craig.
Oh, I'm not ready.
All right, so let's be real. Are either of us going to say the Dodgers do not make the World Series?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so you're going to say the Braves. But like anything realistic.
Come on, like that's not realistic. I think one of us is going to win the World Series. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that's
one of us three, honestly, probably.
No, the Yankees are not really true contenders. Like they are absolutely below like the Astros or the Rangers.
I always forget about the Rangers
or the Orioles. Not for nothing.
Oh,
here's my World Series prediction. I'm gonna go with what I assume would be a pretty reasonable take. Give me Orioles and Dodgers in the World Series.
I'm gonna go Orioles, Braves. I was hoping you would say someone else.
I mean, if you want to be different just for the sake of it, I'll go Rays and Dodgers, like 2020 repeat. But like, it's. I think the only hot take about that is the Rangers not repeating or the Astros not making it to the World Series because like, it really is any one of those 4 teams: Orioles, Rays, Rangers, or Astros in the AL. And in the NL, I think any reasonable person would say Dodgers, Braves, or Phillies, probably, realistically.
Who do you have winning?
I'll go Dodgers. I'm just gonna say it. Like I think it's gonna be kind of a boring, like you can go nuclear and say the Brewers are winning the World Series, but like, yeah, okay, sure. It's not gonna happen, but okay.
Yeah, I will. I'll say the Braves win. No reason, but MVPs.
Yep. I was looking at odds real quick. So for reference, the top winners in the AL: Aaron Judge, Juan
Favorites,
Soto.
you mean?
Sorry. Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Jordan, Corey Seager, Julio Rodriguez. They're top 5.
Mm.
Ooh,
I have a spicy one.
I think I know who you're gonna say.
No, you don't.
Oh, you're gonna say something really nuclear then. All right,
Well, who do you think I'm gonna say?
I think if you're not gonna name any of those top 5 guys, it's gonna be like Gunnar Henderson or like Bobby
That's who it
Acuna.
was.
There you go.
Yeah, Gunnar Henderson.
So if we are going off the idea that the Orioles are really truly contenders, that is not a hot take. To be different from you from going from the Orioles and not going with the top 5 guys. Royce Lewis is not going to win the MVP this year, but Royce Lewis will actually put up a very strong season for the Twins.
If he can walk.
What?
If he can walk at the end of it.
Yes. Royce Lewis is a sneaky pick here. Based on what I just said, I'm going to go Corey Seager, MVP.
Based on that, I'm going to pick one of the top guys.
Not for nothing, Corey Seager's 4th. That's not super outrageous.
I have a somewhat spicy one in the NL as well.
All right, let me read you the NL predictions first. It's Acuna, Mookie Betts, Shohei, Tatis, Harper is top 5.
Who's your guy?
I mean, I said the Dodgers, so I think it has to be like Betts, Ohtani, or Freeman. So, if I'm saying the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, I'm going to be boring and say Mookie Betts.
I'm going to go with Austin Riley.
Austin Riley is on this list. He is plus 2,500. He's like the 10th guy. If I'm going to be weird about it, I'm going to go Michael Harris Jr.
Oh, I like that a lot. I don't think he has any chance of winning MVP, but he is so underrated.
No, Michael Harris is really, really good. But like, I'm giving you like the actual good take and then like a nuclear one.
I appreciate that as a Braves fan because I think he's wildly underrated.
There's a world where Michael Harris puts up more WAR than Acuna in a year. There is a world.
Once the defense helps a lot, but Acuna steals like just don't even make it close.
I think he's gonna steal less bases this year than 73 or whatever.
Yeah, like 50.
Yeah, only 50. How many bases did Harris steal last year? 30?
Like 15, 20, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't run a lot. He probably will run more now if Acuna doesn't run.
He stole 20 last year for reference. Yeah. So, yeah, Michael Harris is really, really good. He's also only going to be 23.
He hit 330 the second half of last season. Number 1 among all qualified hitters, I believe.
He had a 5.3 WAR in 2022 as a rookie, 3.4 the second year. There's something there. And for Harris to be a top 5 MVP candidate is a hot take, but not.
Isn't that crazy, though? The Dodgers and Braves could, like, kind of realistically have, like, 7 to 8 of the top 10 in the MVP voting.
I don't think that's super crazy. Acuna, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, Olsen, Riley in your case, Michael Harris. Doesn't include any of the pitchers. Spencer Strider could absolutely be an MVP candidate if he just goes off. Or Yamamoto if something just crazy happens.
Fried.
I don't think Sale's not going to be an MVP candidate. You're on crack. But what else? What else is a good, like, pretty interesting take for? Oh, here's the most unrealistic one. Other than strikes, the Oakland A's will not have a sold out crowd this year. Boom.
That's not. Yeah, I'd put almost everything I own on that.
Well, you know about the reverse boycott they did, which was like,
they probably didn't even sell out the stadium.
That's the funny thing, and
All right,
No,
you gotta
I feel
pick one like really wild thing to happen this year.
ooh, what's a really good one? Who is an impending free agent other than Juan Sox? I don't want to say that. I want to see because based on that, I will give you my answer.
I have two that are like not that insane, but it doesn't happen very often. I'm gonna say the Orioles and Braves both win over 110 games.
That is really nuclear. All right, so you know what? This I'm going to call this a hot take. Pete Alonso gets traded during the season.
Dude, his fall off is crazy.
He is quite good. He has a lot of ability to hit. I'm going to go and say Pete Alonso gets traded this season because in my world, in my rationale, is the Mets underperform. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent going into 2025, and they move on from him.
Call your shot. Where's he going?
Alonso gets traded to Seattle.
Ooh, that was one of my two. I was gonna say either Seattle or the Rays.
I like the Rays too as an option because then, like, I think we're both on the same path there of like, hey, they're contenders or an injury happens or something. That is my just out of left field option that I'm going to call. Ooh,
Cy Young. Any interest in predicting that?
Cy Youngs are always kind of tricky. I mean, I want to see the Cy Young betting odds before I give you an answer. Just because I have no idea who would be like a top candidate in like the AL other than Garrett Cole.
I mean, you have like Corbin Burns.
So here's the top five: Garrett Cole, which was the favorite. Kevin Gausman's very funny. Framir Valdez, Corbin Burns, and Pablo Lopez. Top five.
Pablo Lopez is top of the G's. I'll give a weird one. I'll go Luis Castillo.
Is he even on this list? Oh, Luis Castillo is 6. Okay.
Oh, actually, damn, there goes
That's
my weird
fine.
one. I'll stay with it.
I'm going to go a little bit really out of left field on what should have been for the Yankees. I'm going to say that Carlos Rodon finishes in the top 5 for Cy Young this year. But with that being said, the Cy Young will probably be like Corbin Burns.
NL.
NL for reference is your boy Spencer Strider, Zach Wheeler, Logan Webb, Zach Gallen, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto's 5, which is fucking crazy to me.
I don't think they're gonna pitch him enough to win.
I don't think so either. Nor should we.
So mine's gonna be a little biased here, but realistically, I think Strider wins his first of a lot. My
win him last
fun.
year?
No, he didn't win. I don't think. I'm pretty sure Gallen won, I believe.
Strider finished 4th. Okay, who won?
My fun take is Chris Sale wins.
That is nuclear. Blake Snell won Cy Young last year.
Blake Snell, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Webb Gallen.
It was still unsigned, actually.
He is unsigned. Maybe that's a hot take. Is we're saying if he signs before opening day. I'm gonna go Zach Gallen for Cy Young because I just don't think Yamamoto will be able to do it. But if we're going with a fun option, who is a fun option here? Give me Max Fried as a fun option.
Ooh, big Braves guy today.
Once again, like if we're going off my logic of, I believe the Dodgers will make the World Series, but I don't think they have Yamamoto pitch enough innings. Then all right, next best option is a Braves guy. So I'm staying at least pretty consistent on my thought process.
It makes a lot of sense too. He's in a contract here. He's going to go off and he's going to get paid by someone.
What do you think Blake Snell signs?
When? Or
when
where?
and where? Both.
That's tough because with a pitcher, it's going to be hard to wait until like the middle of the season because then you got to go to the minors for reps. But I mean, you would think he has to sign in the next couple of weeks, right?
Now that Bellinger signed, I would be very surprised if by the time we record next week's episode, he does not sign.
He probably signs like a 1 year prove it or like a 3 with 2 opt outs or something, right?
Yep. I think Snell signs like a 3-year deal, kind of like what you just said, like $100 million. He goes to the Yankees. That's the only team that's apparently offered him anything. Maybe an opt out after year 2 or something, just so you like get some money locked in, guaranteed, or like maybe it's incentive based, where like, hey, if he pitched 150 innings, he can opt out. Whatever it's going to be, I think at this point now, it's going to be the Yankees. And every day that goes on beyond this point not only hurts him for this season coming up, but also like increases the chance of the Yankees signing him.
I'm gonna say Yankees or Dodgers.
If he goes to the Dodgers, it's over. If he goes to the Dodgers, this entire segment we just said is worthless.
Yeah.
That'd also be wild because I think Kershaw, that would be like the 7th best pitcher on that team when he comes back.
The rotation would be what? Yamamoto, Kershaw, Glasnow, Bobby Miller, and Blake Snell.
The Dodgers rotation right now would be.
I forgot about May. He's coming back. And Bueller. I didn't even mention him.
I'm pretty sure Bueller had Tommy John.
I didn't know if he was back or not.
I just want to see the rotation, guys. Just tell me the goddamn rotation.
You want simple information? No.
Yamamoto, Glasnow, Bueller. Maybe he's not. He's recovering from Tommy John. Okay, he missed the entire 2023 season. So Bueller will be on a theoretical innings limit. Bobby Miller, Kershaw will come back at some point in time. Ohtani will come back at some point in time next year. Jesus Christ, dude.
Forgot about it. You think they actually let him pitch?
Oh, they have to let him pitch.
I would, if I was the owner of the team that signed Ohtani, I would make him a reliever.
I think Ohtani is one more serious arm injury away from being a closer, which is
I think well, if he has another one, he's not going to pitch.
Why not? If you're paying him what you're paying.
Why do people not just bring him out in the 8th inning and make him throw 102 and like just don't kill him?
If Ohtani has one more elbow injury, I think you just make him a closer for the rest of his pitching career, whatever it ends up being.
I think he would just not want to pitch at that point.
I think he would want to pitch. I think that'd make him
3 arm blowouts in 8 years or whatever.
I think he would still want to pitch.
Well, he's dumb.
He's got $800 million. I guess.
You forgot about California taxes. He's probably got about 300.
No. He's going to be living in Japan or like Florida at that point, Kai.
That's true. Actually, I forgot about that.
The California governor or someone was upset with the Ohtani contract because he was stealing money away from the poor based on like how it was structured. So whatever. If you want to be a tax expert as well, make sure to use Rocket Money or TurboTax or whatever.
Code extraordinary.
Code tax evasion for 15% off.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, all right. Listen, that's everything I got. Kai, anything else you want to end with?
I'm good. Trying not to get arrested here.
Listen, it's only arrested if you get caught. And on that note, we'll see you guys next week. I might be calling you in from the county jail. Bye.